Roderick has bad memories at the Slipslide Water Park, too. Last year, his band got booked to do a show on the music stage they have near the wave pool. Roderick's band asked the park people to set them up with a smoke machine so they could have some special effects for their show. But somebody screwed up, and they set Roderick's band up with a bubble machine instead. I found out the reason Mom took us to the water park today. It was half price for families. Unfortunately, it looked like just about every family in the state was there too. When we got through the gates, Mom rented a stroller for Manny. I convinced her to spend a little more money and rent a double stroller because I knew it was going to be a long day and I wanted to conserve my energy. Mom parked the stroller near the wave pool, which was so crowded you could barely even see the water. After we put on our sunscreen and found a place to sit, I felt a few raindrops, and then I heard thunder. Then an announcement came over the loudspeaker. Due to lightning, the Slipslide Water Park is now closed. Thank you for coming and have a nice day. Everyone hit the exits and got in their cars, but with all the people trying to leave at the exact same time, it was a total traffic jam. Manny tried to entertain everyone by telling jokes at first. Mom and Dad were encouraging him. Knock, knock, who's there? Your underwear. Ha ha. Good one, Manny. But after a while, Manny's jokes didn't even make sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 named Clive. We were low on gas, so we had to turn off the air conditioner and wait for the parking lot to clear up. Mom said she had a headache and she went to the back to lie down. An hour later, traffic finally thinned out and we got onto the highway. We stopped for gas and about 45 minutes later, we were home. Dad told me to wake Mom up, but when I looked in the back of the station wagon, Mom wasn't there. For a few minutes, nobody knew where she went. Then we realized the only place she could be was at the gas station. She must have gotten out to use the bathroom when we stopped and nobody noticed. Sure enough, that's where she was. We were glad to see her, but I don't think she was too happy to see us. Oops. Mom didn't really say anything on the ride back. Something tells me she's had her fill of family togetherness for a while, and that's good because I have too. Sunday. I really wish we didn't go on that trip yesterday because if we stayed home, my fish would still be alive. Before we left for our trip, I fed my fish, and Mom said I should feed Roderick's fish too. Roderick's fish was in a bowl on top of the refrigerator, and I'm pretty sure Roderick hadn't fed his fish or cleaned the bowl once. I think Roderick's fish was living off the algae growing on the glass. When Mom saw Roderick's bowl, she thought it was disgusting, so she took his fish and put it in my bowl. When we got home from the water park, I went straight to the kitchen to feed my fish, but he was gone, and it wasn't a big mystery what happened to him. I didn't even have time to feel sad about it, because today was Father's Day, and we all had to get in the car and go up to Grandpa's for brunch. I'll tell you this, if I'm ever a dad, you're not going to see me dressing up in a shirt and tie and going to Leisure Towers on Father's Day. I'm going to go off by myself and have some fun. But Mom said she thought it would be good for the 3 generations of Heffley men to be together. I guess I must have been picking at my food because Dad asked me what was wrong. I told him I was bummed out because my fish died. Dad said he didn't really know what to say because he'd never had a pet die before. He said he used to have a dog named Nutty when he was a kid, but Nutty ran away to a butterfly farm. I've heard Dad tell the same story about Nutty and the butterfly farm a million times, but I didn't want to be rude and cut him off. Then Grandpa spoke up and said he had a confession to make. He said that Nutty didn't actually run away to a butterfly farm. Grandpa said what really happened was that he accidentally ran over the dog when he was backing his car out of the driveway. Was that Frank's skateboard? Grandpa said he made up the butterfly farm story so he didn't have to tell Dad the truth, but that now they could have a good laugh over it. But Dad was mad. He told us to get in the car, and he left Grandpa with the bill for brunch. Dad didn't say anything on the way home. He just dropped us off at the house and drove away. Dad was gone for a long time, and I was starting to think maybe he was going to just take the rest of the day for himself. But he showed up an hour later carrying a big cardboard box. Dad put the box on the floor, and believe it or not, there was a dog in there. Mom didn't seem too thrilled that Dad went out and bought a dog without checking with her first. I don't think Dad has ever bought a pair of pants for himself without getting Mom's okay beforehand. But I think she could see that Dad was happy, so she let him keep it. At dinner, Mom said we should come up with a name for the dog. I wanted to name it something like Shredder or Ripjaw, but Mom said my ideas were too violent. Manny's ideas were a whole lot worse, though. He wanted to name the dog an animal name like elephant or zebra. Zeb for short. Roderick liked the animal name idea, and he said we should call the dog Turtle. Turd for short. Mom said we should call the dog Sweetheart. I thought that was a really terrible idea because the dog is a boy, not a girl. Before any of us could fight, Dad agreed with Mom's idea. Sweetie for short. I think Dad was willing to go with anything Mom came up with if it meant he didn't have to take the dog back. But something tells me Uncle Joe would not approve of our dog's name. Dad told Roderick he should go to the mall to buy a bowl and get the dog's name printed on it. And here's what Roderick came back with. Sweaty. I guess that's what you get when you send the worst speller in the family off to do your errands. Wednesday. I was really happy when we got our dog at first, but now I'm starting to have second thoughts. The dog's actually been driving me crazy. A few nights ago, a commercial came on TV, and it showed some gophers popping in and out of their holes. Sweetie seemed pretty interested in that, so Dad said, "Where are the gophers, Sweetie? Where are they, boy?" That got Sweetie all riled up, and he started barking at the TV. Now Sweetie barks at the TV constantly, and the only thing that gets him to stop is when the commercial with the gophers comes back on. But what really bugs me about the dog is that he likes to sleep in my bed, and I'm afraid he'll bite my hand off if I try to move him. And he doesn't just sleep in my bed, he sleeps right smack in the middle. Dad comes up in my room at 7 every morning to take Sweetie out. But I guess me and the dog have something in common, because he doesn't like getting out of bed in the morning either. So Dad turns the light on and off to try to make the dog wake up. "Come on, Sweetie, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up." Yesterday, Dad couldn't get Sweetie to go outside, so he tried something new. He went to the front of the house and rang the doorbell, which made the dog shoot out of bed like a rocket. The only problem was he used my face as a launching pad. Bark, 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 bark. It must have been raining outside this morning, because when Sweetie came back in, he was shivering and soaking wet. Then he tried to get under the covers with me to get warm. Luckily, the muddy hand has given me a lot of practice with this sort of thing, so I was able to keep him out. Thursday. This morning, Dad wasn't able to get the dog out of bed no matter what he tried. So he went to work, and about an hour later, Sweetie woke me up to take him outside. I wrapped myself in my blanket and then let the dog out the front door and waited for him to do his business. But Sweetie decided to make a run for it, and I had to chase after him. You know, I was actually having a pretty decent summer until Sweetie came along. He's ruining the two things that are the most important to me, television and sleep. And you know how Dad is always getting on my case about lying around all day? Well, Sweetie is twice as bad as me, but Dad's crazy about that dog. I don't think the feeling is mutual, though. Dad is always trying to get the dog to give him a kiss on the nose, but Sweetie won't do it. I can kind of understand why the dog doesn't like Dad. The only person Sweetie really likes is Mom, even though she barely pays him any attention, and I can tell that's starting to drive Dad a little nuts. Get down, Sweetie. I think Sweetie is just more of a ladies' man, so I guess that's something else we have in common.